Hi, everybody. Welcome to my podcast. Today's podcast is on doing absent healing, which we can all do. It's done in a variety of ways, so just thought I'd tell you some of the ways you can use to do it, and that will give you a whole range of different types of ways you can do it in different situations. The reason absent healing works is because healing is just energy. So what you're doing is you're just sending on the energetic channel. So when you send healing, you send that energy, the healing energy, to the person or the animal. The first thing is that your intention to do it will make it just happen. So whether you think you're doing it or you don't think you're doing it, you will be doing it. And then it just reaches the animal or the person. I usually do it in a variety of ways. It all depends how serious the condition is. The first way you do it is probably the simplest way if you're on your own. It's just imagine that the person's standing in front of you and raise your hands, your two hands, and face your hands towards them and just push the healing, like send the healing through your hands to the person or the animal. And you'll just sit there for a while with your two hands facing them, your palms facing them, and send the healing. I usually do it for as long as it feels intuitively right. Some people it can be a few minutes, some people it can even be a bit longer. And then you just wait and wait and wait until you finish, and then that's done. And you can send the healing quite directly that way. Some people use a teddy bear or a little doll or something, and they put it the same process. They imagine that doll or teddy bear is the person, and they put their hands on it or near it, like Reiki, and they just send the healing in and do the work. When you're doing the healing work, even though it's absent, you'll still often feel the pain, or you can feel the different areas that you're working on. It's a very powerful thing to do. It actually is really happening, even though you can't literally see it. Another way to do it is just with your mind. You just see the part you want to send healing to. So if someone's having heart trouble, I will see them in my mind. Then I see where the heart sits, and then I send gold light or healing light straight to that part. I just keep sending it like on a focus. So you send it really strongly to that part that it needs. If it's their back, you run it down their spine. If it's their knee, you run it to their knee. And you just keep sending it. The reason the mind one, when you're just doing it from your mind, works too, is that it's very portable. You don't have to put your hands out, literally. You can be sitting on the bus and doing it, waiting at the traffic lights, and just send some more light there, so you see it as light. I watched a video, and in that video, these people were all healers, and they were doing this way where they were sending it exactly to it. They were capable of seeing spirit, and they saw spiritual beings, and they saw them actually sending the gold light. They saw this gold light to the actual spots, which was kind of wonderful. I thought that these people had the sight, and then they could relate to us how they did it. That brings you to the next thing, that you can ask spirit to do it for you. So you can ask your guides, one of their guides, to give the healing. I usually ask for the healing to continue until it's not needed. So even if you have to go and wash up the dishes or take the kids to school, the healing just continues and moves on as you're doing it. The other way I do it is to use a pendulum. So I use my pendulum, and I visualise the base chakra, and I go through every chakra and clear every chakra up. That's actually can take a long time, because if someone's not very well, you have to wait for each chakra to release. And then at the end of that, I go back and check that all the chakras are open. The actual pendulum can be used if you're skilled in using a pendulum. It's very useful. You can also just go to like this sore knee with your pendulum and release the energy off it, or the pain. Or if they've got a headache, people have got headaches, I'll often go and work on their crown, because the crown's usually going backwards. It's not the right way, so you just release it off with your pendulum. The back of their neck usually is playing up as well. It's really wonderful to send absent healing. It's a good thing to do. As you do it more and more, you'll become better and better at it, and quicker. I got quicker at doing it. And then I could just send it straight away. There are lots of areas in the body that for people they will have trouble with, and that includes yourself. So you can actually send yourself absent healing in a sense by just sending it to your knee or your ankle. If you're lying in bed there, you can, or you're quiet, you just imagine that you're sending the light to your heart, or if you're in trouble with your throat, you've got a sore throat, send the healing to your throat. And you can do that again just with your mind by just projecting and sending it. We can send to people and animals. We can also send healing to different parts of the world. For example, right now, we all know where's a good part to send it to the world, a few places. And we can send it to the leaders as well, to help them to come from maybe a better space, more loving space, and negotiate and compromise. The healing is then received or not by the recipient. You don't have any control or anything about that one. You can't do anything about that one. They either receive it or they don't receive it. Just because you send something to someone doesn't mean they want to receive it. There are reasons people are sick. Sometimes they need to be sick to have a break. Other times they will maybe need a bit more attention, nurturing from other people. And sometimes it's just part of their learning. They need to experience what it was like to have this illness. Having said that, you can feel frustrated if you send it and you don't see any results. So don't aim to send healing to get results as much as just to send healing and hope to get results. I've sent healing to certain people and the condition remained, and I did it every which way I could think of to send it. And it still remained. They still said it hurt and it didn't work, so to speak. It's a little bit demoralising when you hear that because you spend a lot of time, but my attitude is, well, if I hadn't sent it, they wouldn't have had the chance. There is a thought in our spiritual world that the healing is always held. So whatever you send, it almost sits at the doorstep for them. So if they want to use it, they can use it further along at another time. The healing can also be sent to people across on the other side. So it's a different sort of healing. It probably would be more emotional healing, fixing things up, maybe some psychological healing. But you can send healing to someone who's passed if you want to. That's a good thing to do, particularly if there was unresolved issues between you. I think you'll enjoy sending the healing. We're all capable of doing it. I do it because I really love doing it, but I've honed it a little bit now because I've been doing it for years, and it's a little bit second nature. When you first start doing it, it will feel a little bit strange, a little bit weird, but then you can have a wonderful thing where you send it and maybe you don't say anything to the person and then they tell you that, gee, their knee's been feeling a lot better, or their eye, or whatever. What we're doing is we're removing the energy, the negative energy, and or the problem with balancing that energetic part of the body in the aura. That's what we're really doing. Sometimes that will take a long time to heal, to readjust and then almost download into the physical body. Other times it's really quick. Sometimes if someone's got a headache, you work on them, within an hour the headache will lift. And I'll know that that's because of the healing. However, if it's chiropractic and they need to have their neck put back in place, it will lift, but it'll come then again. Have fun with your little healing practices. I think one of the most powerful healings we can do is healing to people's hearts, because a lot of people are going through emotional things. Can't take a tablet to fix that. You can have a sore knee and you can take a tablet, but you can't take a tablet for a broken heart or grief or any kind of loss. So you can send healing to them. I usually send love and healing light. I usually send pink. And that's the other thing, you can send different colours to people. You can send, if you know the colours of the chakra, each one, you can send those colours to each chakra, the blue for the throat and the orange for the sacral. So we can send not only healing, we can actually hone what kind of healing light that we send. If more people knew how to send healing and could send it, it would be a really much more wonderful world. But I think people are getting to understand this work more and more. Every bit of healing you send is something that you do, which is also good karma for you, and also using the gift, because if you're listening to these podcasts, I would say most of you are gifted healers. and psychics in your own right. Do the healings. I suggest that you do them when you can actually focus, but they don't have to be a long healing. If you're just got a few minutes and you just want to, or even 1 minute, and you just want to send healing to someone's knee, just visualize it and see the healing light going there, and it will go there. And it's another new week. I hope it's a happy week for you. There's been lots going on in the world, so we really need to keep focusing on all the good things, as I've said before. And I'm sending you healing and love and light.